thing. And actually, let me put on a microphone. I think I forgot it, but never mind. I think the sound will be good. Okay. So here is my story. I woke up early morning. The main card was starting at 6 a.m. I had an alarm on, though I fell asleep. And I missed the first two fights from the main card. I entered the live stream of the event after the second fight, the end of it. And yeah, so I watched 3 of the fights that I really wanted to watch. It's Prochaska versus Khalil, and obviously Merab Corey, and Ankalaev Pereira. Hi Frosty Cupcake, Rebecca, how are you doing? It's been a while. Happy to see you here. Anyways, my morning couldn't be better. All of the guys that I hoped would win did win. But yeah, let's talk about it. Let's wait for more people coming in this live stream. And thanks for sharing my Instagram contact details. I really appreciate it. I'll pin, yes. Give me a second. Okay, it's pinned now. What country are you in? Well, guess this is Georgia. Look at this. This is the Georgian mountains that Merab is talking about, right? Except this is not specifically his region, but Georgia is small enough to, you know, considered to be pretty. As much as the regions are a little bit different, I mean, Georgia is Georgia, and all Georgians acknowledge that. But anyways, okay, well, how did you like the performances? I don't know, like it's a little bit obviously they've been better cards, they've been better fights, but I definitely can say that that wasn't entertaining. So what is your take on it? Okay, I appreciate you guys. I'm married for new people here, for those who don't know. But I will gladly to listen. I will gladly listen to your opinion regarding this card, especially speaking about the last 3 fights. Anyways, well, let's talk about Jiri and Khalil. First round, I thought, well, that was very dangerous for Jiri, and you know, like if you just take it first round, you would think, oh, that guy's not gonna make it, and you know, with his very open, risky style, and he's taking all these punches. But one more time, this guy showed his, like, how you call that? Is it called like a Czech samurai? Well, if it's true, then it's for a reason. The guy has very strong psychology, and I think, yeah, I mean, after his first round, he started taking initiative, and in the third round, it was what people expected to be from the beginning. Some of them, but I can understand those two being careful with each other and being quite calculated and measured in the beginning. Did you watch UFC today? Yeah, I'm talking about it. So I'm talking about the Jiri versus Khalil fight, and it was like, to me, it was entertaining. First round, Jiri clearly lost. Khalil did great job. He was super explosive, super successful on landing those punches. And well, second round was, I think I would give it to Jerry. I think he took initiative more, and well, the last round was kind of um, uh, fight and die, and both corners knew that. And it's interesting. Like I could hear Khalil's corner telling him, "Oh, all you need is this one, two, three punches. You're gonna get there." But then it was completely different. It ended in a different way, and that was very entertaining. And I really like Jiri Prochaska. He's now up to Chama's fight. I mean, I'll get there. I'll get there. I mean, it barely was a fight. It was just a one-sided beating within the like first few seconds of the of the first round. But I think it has a strong psychological effect. Everyone thought, and I was also, when people were asking me about, oh, what is your take on if Shama is gonna be back, and I said, well, if he's gonna be in this with the same attitude and same preparation, it's not gonna be good. But I really hope, so I didn't have exact prediction towards that one because I didn't know how was he doing. Everyone is doing well on the videos and pictures until they really step in the cage and show what they really got. So I just had fingers crossed because Alex Pereira is one of my favorite fighters, guys. I'll be honest, I had a better excitement when he won, like a more excitement, even comparing to Merab's fight. But because that fight you could see, I think Merab did great too. So yeah, we're here to talk about it. Okay, I'm keep scrolling up, guys. Darkside says great fight. Yes. Yes, Potan won, ma'am. I mean, I'm drinking my coffee with this view and the Georgian mountains. I couldn't have a better morning than this. Can you make me stand up more, please, so I can comment on? Can't. Okay, I mean, I can make you. Okay, I'll remove you and make you a standard moderator. Standard moderator. Okay. Well, here we are. I hope that works. I won't copy your hairstyle. It's freshly washed. When the Thai workers punch landed, then this happened. Yes, that's exactly how it was. Casuals were looking into this rematch like Stipe versus Francis too, thinking Ank was gonna do the same thing again and calling him washed because of one loss. Hell no. I mean, yeah, that's a little bit. How to say that? Like when you underestimate someone who was the reigning champion, like 2024 was Pereira's year, with this five win streaks and well before 24 too, and well all of a sudden he lost it, and I that happens. I liked Pereira's attitude. He said that you face losses sometimes, so you gotta embrace it and you gotta come back stronger. And I love this moment. I saw his face, something like he was definitely different from the first fight, and I just like this kind of and I had this thought, he's gonna knock him out. Like there is like that guy looks scary now, like at maybe scariest he ever been. And well, you saw what happened. I like the dynamic. I like how he started. He did not start to measure. He went on showing clear intention without hesitation. That also always affects an opponent psychologically. So before Ankalaev could, adapt, realize, it's not like, how to say that, it's some people gonna now start cheating on Big Ank and saying that, oh, he's like, yeah, that was just a fluke. Well, it's not exactly like this. You know what I mean? It's sometimes it is a psychological impact has a big impact on the fights, and whether it's entire fight or whether it's first round finishes, it really can go. Everything can happen in MMA. Everything. But yeah, Pereira owned the moment. It was the shortest one. Sorry. Oh, I think I have something stuck in my braces. Apologize for that. No, it's not gonna be good. But yeah, let me just see through the comments now. Shama, yes, Shama. Alex versus Jiri is 3 now. He moves up to fight the winner of Aspinall versus Khan. Win or lose, he should retire. He's done enough and had one of the fastest runs in the sport by far. I agree with that. The age is kind of always is a factor. When you are getting past 35, I would say that it becomes tricky, you know. So I wouldn't blame him and I wouldn't judge him to if he retires. But there's still some fights that people would love to see. Okay, 1 second. I need to take this thing out of my brace, please. Okay, I'm back with a clean teeth at this time. How old are you? I'm 25 years old. Why you ignore comments? Did I ignore yours? I'm not sure. Okay. Wow, you look princess. That was your comment, and then you say, "Why you ignore comments?" Guys, there are people in the chat, and sometimes I miss a couple of things. So feel free to just engage more, and I'll see more of it. But don't spam the same message, please. Pereira knockout was too early. He was still alert. And hello, Merab dominated. Well, okay. What do you think about Merab's second round, like punching combos that went through and was very close to knock out Corey? What do you think about that? Like he won by all the stats, so I think Merab is really putting a great work into evolving and learning and getting better technique. That's what he said with his own words. And when it comes to that, he said, "I'm always a student. I always learn," and it is the best attitude, because if you always progress, even though there is a previous materials of your fights and your opponents might see that and try to analyze and come up with a fighting strategy relying on those materials, if you always level up, it's almost impossible to, exactly predict what to expect. So I don't know. I think Merab is getting better and better. Even though it was, again, decision, and some people might call him a decision machine one more time, but Corey was a tough fighter. He's big. There were moments that he wanted to go for submission too, and Corey is quite big. He had to spend a lot of energy to get up from the takedowns and get off the walls of the cage. But he's quite big, and it's not that easy to you know secure the position when someone is that big, comparatively speaking. But I still think that it was fair and square, no questions regarding Merab, and he definitely had his moments. He dominated absolutely uh, in all aspects, and yeah, I mean, it's a good morning, isn't it? Where are you from? I'm from Georgia myself, same country as Merab. Ankh takedown was bad. I think it was cause he was rocked, plus his guard was bad. That's what I think. Well, what I think, he felt immediate psychological pressure. Like, imagine Pereira standing in front of you like this, like literally, like looking through you, and you know that he's gonna farm you. Like, he already went on attack, and like he was ready to land more punches. So I think Ankh just panicked. Not panicked, but it was not a very good attempt of the takedown, and that was his first mistake. And the second mistake was he went sideways, which, I mean, it was, you cannot blame him for that, because Pereira just really literally sat on him, secured the leg, and went with those elbows. Body had elbows. He couldn't do that for anything from that point. But that chaotic, like that bad attempt of the takedown was the key reason why he lost, I would say. Got under, but I think he would lose anyways. I think Pereira was very, very determined this time. Congratulations, Merab, and Merab. Sorry, congratulations, Merab. Another awesome performance. Absolutely. Yeah, the main card. I mean, the event is done. What is the channel about? Of, well, I'm a boxer myself. I mean, I used to be an amateur boxer. Then I just trained for myself for years, and I'm kind of getting back to it. You know, training, showing my training, live streaming that, explaining some stuff. I'm also a coach, more like personal trainings, and teaching from the zero to a certain level. So yeah, that's on in my live streams. I do that too. Sometimes we'll have conversations about some important stuff, like psychological things, mental health, um, related to training and sports, and how to optimize it. So yeah, basically it. A little bit of sprinting, a bit of sometimes a little bit music, art, and yeah. Right now I'm in the mountains. I'm in the Georgian mountains. So let me show you a little bit closer. I'm in my godfather's winery slash guest house. It's called Sadmeli Winery. I have a video. I made a video a couple days ago, and there is all the information about this place if you're gonna want to see it, and if you're coming to Georgia and want to check it out, go ahead. You won't regret it. Styles make fights, and physique makes styles. It's a good wording. Does Alex give chance to Uncle Live? Can we expect this fight? You mean like a street fight? I don't know. Not at this point. I don't think. Not at this point. I see Jiri versus Poatan 3 more, like in the sooner time than Ankh versus Pereira. You from America or Russia? I'm from Georgia, which is closer to Russia. It's literally bordering with Russia. So, but I'm from the same country as Murab. Speaking of that, order has been restored in light heavyweight division. that's that's. I mean, no disrespect to Uncle Live, but somehow I don't know why it feels that way. Maybe just because Pereira's been a huge star, and he's an Adesania's rivalry was like a legendary in the UFC for years. So maybe it's just a little disparity in the stardom, because it's not only about fighting in a cage, it's about your persona, your presence, your social media presence, the how much people like you for whatever reason. So maybe that is the reason why I felt bad for Magomed when people started booing him. I mean, it's, I don't know, like, but I also understand where that comes from. People just, they want They want that entertainment, they want that excitement, emotion, and I think Pereira was one of the best fighters in UFC who was able to provide that. And he did one more time. Good morning. Thank you. Merab, congratulations. Potan was on something good. Well, uh, they unless the test proves it, you can only speculate, right? But the doping and drug abuse in the sport is a major gray area. We all know that. Hi Gigi. Diana, your hair looks so amazing this way. Thank you. I don't know. I just washed it and it's just it looks healthier. Maybe the mountain air, fresh air, complements it. Hi, found you again. Cool. Welcome to the stream. Are you an introvert or extrovert? I am more like a socially adapted introvert. It's like a spectrum, and throughout the life it can just it like moves back and forth. It can be at zero, it can be leaning slightly towards one or another. It's more, it looks like that um, more than just being rather one or another. But at this point, well, I'm able to do live streams, so I guess I learned how to be a little bit of an extrovert. I didn't realize Georgia looked like that until UFC followed Merab in Georgia. Beautiful country. Yes, I mean, I'll show you. I'm just showing you the view every now and then so you can see. It's a very nice terrace, by the way. In the previous live stream, I showed around as well, so you can play that one back. Right now, I don't have my stabilizer, so it would be a little bit messy. And today we're here to talk more about today's event. Who you got between Islam and GDM? Can go either way, but maybe Islam. Like I think Islam has quite a good chances to win. Great English. I appreciate it. Thank you. Have a great day. You have a great day too. Everyone, guys. All of you. Alex was sharp, fast, and strong and scary. Like that guy. Like when I saw this cut of his face, like the way how he looked to the Magomed's corner, I knew that he was ready for this fight. Hello from Sicily. Hi. Okay, I'm keep scrolling up, guys. It's quite a lot of in the chat. Projaska, I mean, that's I watched it. This is the moment I woke up, and I'm glad because those three fights I wanted to see. So yeah, I watched Projaska versus Khalil. Uh, that's his name. Remind me the surname of the guy. I mean, he's great. Feel sorry for him because they were both beaten by Pereira, and he was great first round. He definitely owned it, but that's the thing. Sometimes at that level, it's not about first round. First round not necessarily secures your win, especially if you're fighting with someone with very strong psychology, very strong attitude, which Jerry definitely has. That kind of like a almost like a way, the journey of the warrior. If you look at him, this is how it feels. And the guy is also smart, definitely smart and educated. I think he has his style is a little bit confusing, let's be honest, but at the same time, I can tell that he has quite a high IQ and definitely a tough chin as well. And yeah, we saw what we saw. Do you think Roundtree sell the the fight trying to engage, or do you make him to do those mistakes? Well, as I said, first round, I think he felt confident. Second round, like, because when you're that loaded and when you like explode like that, you get tired fairly soon. And I think when it didn't really take that much effect, except that he took a first round, um, the like on the second round, the Roundtree started losing it, and Jiri started taking over and doing his confusing stuff, but doing it quite successfully. On third round, it was literally both being told that okay, you go for it. And as much as Roundtree tried it, Khalil Roundtree tried it, Jiri was like he was just better. He was just they both were tired in the end, but like he just managed to do it better. Okay, thank you, guys. Hello, good publications. Uh, Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate all the compliments, guys. I just don't focus on that because let's keep the topic of the conversation. This is why I love Caucasian girls. Well, Caucasian girls are tough. They're tough, but they are very very good. They take care of you. They're very loyal, very strong. Well, some of them are very jealous, but I mean, like like you cannot mess around. But yeah, Georgian girls. We have some female MMA fighters too. There is actually this girl that Mariam Topuria, and we're joking like in Georgia we said like Topurias are just crushing everyone because she's doing well. I think she has rather one loss or something and a few wins, and we'll see. Maybe we see her in the future in the UFC, hopefully, and she's gonna be a first female MMA fighter in the UFC, a female Georgian female fighter in the UFC. Are you an amateur pro boxer? What's your record and interest in doing MMA? I used to be an amateur, around less than 5 fights. Then I had a lot of open ring tournaments. I'm talking about like around 10 years ago, like 10 to 8 years ago, and like those two active years when there was barely any female boxers in Georgia. And then I retired, and I kept training for myself, learning, took a personal training course, all that kind of stuff. Then for the last few months, I started training more and just to get back to the solid level, start working on footwork. It's also fun, I think it's even if you don't compete straight away, this is how you build it up and you have that routine that you just keep as the baseline activity, not like just train for a season, then go off and gain weight and be lazy. I think it's better to have a mentality of always be ready. Then when I came back to Georgia, I had a couple sparring trainings, and when I say sparring trainings, it wasn't like a spar; it was training. But in Georgia, some of the gyms, like old school gyms, still have heavy sparring. So I would go there like once a week, and I get well. I definitely felt how it's getting punched in the face, but I also realized that unlike years ago, now I'm way more pragmatic, strategical. I use a lot of defense. I'm not that flamboyant. I really, look for the timing, let the opponent tire themselves out. I'm shorter boxer within my weight class, so I kind of do shifts and leans, and I just take it as a learning process. And yeah, I mean, when I come back from the mountains, maybe gonna try to do one more time. Unfortunately, I cannot record in that gym because they are. I asked the coach, and he said like he doesn't want his kids, and they're amateur boxers and they're all competitive. He doesn't want them to be shown on the in the internet. So I completely respect that. Anyways, we'll do one more sparring, get one some more notes for myself, and go back to Vietnam and figure out where to find some of the. There are some very good boxing classes. Mostly they are guys on the good level, so sometimes it's a good training to do some technical sparring with the guys. And maybe looking into a Thailand. I have some people and some fighter friends and some coaches that I know currently in the Thailand, and maybe Thailand could be more a better scene to have a first professional fight for in the boxing, for example. So yeah, ranting a little bit, but that kind of sounds like a plan. I want to have my first professional fight uh, whenever I'm ready and whenever I'm yeah, basically whenever I'm ready, and then just keep going. I'm not planning to go like crazy unless it just goes very very well, and people require more. I do it more often, more consistent, full time almost. But at this point, it just showing the journey, broadcasting it on my social media platforms, point out certain details, mistakes and the benefits, try to analyze those things together with you guys. And well, some people already say that a lot of tips that I gave them was helpful in their practice, so that's kind of is my goal. But yeah, let's move on to the next one. Fake jab to the body and looping right. I mean, yeah, it's a jab. That's the beauty of the jab. You can do many jabs. You can just basically do a confusing movement, especially in the UFC. You don't have to do like a boxing standard. You can afford doing some. I think Merab that he did like a hammer jab or something, and then he was like going right straight away, and they went through, right? So yeah, you just gotta be creative. Just do normal streaming like this. I'm liking your knowledge about this stuff. I appreciate it. I'll do as much as I can. Good evening. Well, good morning from Georgia. Okay, one more time. Showing you the mountains, guys. This is the. This is Racha. Racha is one of the northern. It's like a northwest of Georgia. Well, part of it at least. It's very beautiful, very refreshing, very quiet, delicious food. It's a winery, so my godfather's family make their own wine. Though I'm not a big time drinker, I just drank a little bit and I already feel, I'll be honest, I did not feel very good next morning, so I'm probably gonna cut it off. But it's just amazing here. Oh, okay. Chris Aiden, by my husband is here. Uh, he woke up apparently. MS says, I like her personality. Her femininity is awkward in a cute way because she has masculine tomboy traits, polite but also tough. Thank thank you very much. I mean, it's funny because when me and my husband met first time, he like later on he called me like I was a angry ginger man. I was way more, how to say that, aggressive, not like aggressive in the like yelling, screaming and being opinionated like way, not in that way, but I think I was way more masculine than I am. And well, in the last 3 years I'm embracing my femininity and uh, the best out of it. But I definitely have masculine traits and I wouldn't change that for nothing. The way my life was, the way I had to step up early in my life and become independent and help my family, and start thinking about things to figure out how to step up in the world. One of the reasons that how I learned English in 2020 as my third language, I really committed to it because I knew that it would open a lot of doors. And here I am, live streaming in English language, and you pretty much can understand me. So I appreciate it. I mean, tomboy. Okay, I mean, it's interesting the way to say it. Emmett defended that armbar bet. I went live. I turned out on the live when the Emmett fight was over. So I didn't watch that one. I gotta have to rewatch highlights or wait until it gets uploaded. Oh my god, I love that you watch UFC. A girl that watches MMA, I want to marry. Well, I'm already married, but I do believe there are girls that watch MMA, and they're usually in those circles. They're usually training in the gym themselves, in the mixed martial art gyms. They are, friends or family members with the fighter, people who fight, rather amateur or professional. So, well, you gotta look for those girls in the gyms, I would say. Female Tapuria. There is actually a female, yeah, there is a Georgian girl, Mariam Tapuria. They're not related with, she's not related with Tapurias, but Tapuria is actually quite common surname in Georgia. I have, I had a classmate Tapuria, and there are quite a lot of Tapurias I know. Keep scrolling up, guys. I'm doing well. Thank you very much. How do you think about Yojo Sang? I don't know much. Okay, so I need to look into it. I can actually screenshot it. So here. So I can look it up later. It's my grandma walking back in the house. Jama. Okay, and graphic designer would love you to get any of my artwork done, like animated portrait logo, etc. Just I have an email in my YouTube bio. Please send me an email, and we can see what we can do. My favorite boxer is Lomachenko. Where fair enough, he's amazing. One of my favorites too. Did you expect Pereira to come that hot versus Big Ang? I didn't know exactly. That's why I didn't have 100% take. I was saying if Pereira is well prepared and he is not same as he was, I said then he will win. But I'll be honest, I didn't expect it exactly. Do you know Lomachenko? Of course. I picked Jiri by knockout. That was epic comeback. Jiri is amazing. I did pick Ang, but man, Potan was fully charged. He was massive. LOL. Fair play to him. Yeah, I mean, well, sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong. That's the excitement of the sport. Things happen. It must be Sunday for you. That's true. It is. Do you love reading history? Yeah, I wouldn't say I read necessarily books at this point. I mean, more like watching documentaries. That's my favorite thing, and I use a lot of AI for learning lately, especially the way it evolved. And I recommend it. It really helps as the learning tool. And also fact checking. I always, especially lately, I fact check everything. I was hoping the ref would let the fight go on for a bit against Ank. Well, this guy is very professional ref, and there was a reason why he was on that main fight. And you can clearly see that from the upper angle, he couldn't defend himself. Like those elbows were going clean through. Like it seems like he was covering, but it was literally going right into his head. He stopped protecting. He was just covering himself, but that doesn't count as the protection. So he had time to do something, but it could not be like their health matters too, right? So you cannot just let it be a one-sided beating. I think he stopped it in the right time. Man, that looks nice. Yeah, it does. I don't drink alcohol. Good for you. You shouldn't. Alcohol is there's nothing good about alcohol. I mean, yeah, I mean winemaking culture, it's beautiful, but like if we talk about purely alcohol as a substance, There is actually not a single research that indicates on anything positive about the alcohol. Hobbies. Good you asked, because my hobbies are singing and drawing. So when we're back to Vietnam, which is going to be quite soon, I really want to get, which I didn't do before, but I want to get some canvas and just do some art and try to sell it. I mean, rather through here online or locally there, just to start creating more art and possibly live stream that part too, how I do the Canva painting. I admire those qualities, very cool. I appreciate you guys, thank you. Where are you training these days? Right now I'm resting. I'm having a little vacation with my family in the mountains. So right now I'm just chilling and getting fatter. I try not to eat too much, but it's very hard to do because it's amazing food here. Well, then gonna, as I said, try to do one or two more sparring trainings before leaving, and then we're probably gonna leave back to Vietnam. And when we are back to the city where we were based, where we know a lot of people, we know the gyms, I'm gonna continue training there. Except before I was doing a lot of like a groundwork, like a footwork technique, cleaning up things, working on the power, a little bit of like a base stamina. You know, there is this sparring stamina, it's different, but you also have the stamina that you do some specific cardio training and certain drills. This time I will attend boxing classes. There is this one guy who is a very cool boxing coach in Nha Trang Sport Unite. It's very good, and yeah, I attended one class, and I'm looking forward to attend maybe at least couple times per week. So I do a little bit more sparring and that kind of stuff too. I see your videos all the time. I caught your stream, ma'am. I'm happy I caught your stream, ma'am. Thank you, I appreciate it. Okay. I love how many sparring sessions you have had in the last week. As I said, if that was a Thailand, it would be every day because they spar light. They do light sparring. They chill, and it's good. Light sparrings are great for just to get into the motion. In Georgia, in that gym, like when I talk to the coach, he's like, yeah, I mean, they like he sometimes he puts, for example, with the girls, he puts a little bit smaller boys. Like obviously, he doesn't put like older guys with them, only for the technical sparrings. But sometimes he puts smaller boys, but those smaller boys are tough and they're kids, so they don't hold themselves back. And he matches the pairs the way that they beat your ass. They've tried to kick your ass and they try to kill you because they're the girl that I sparred. She was like 15 years old, and I mean, for me, my intention was to test certain things. You know, my defense was on good point. Like almost didn't get hit in in the exchanges. I was padding a lot of punches, for example. That was a good part. Then when she was coming on the offense, at some point her coach told her that what you're doing, you're not good. She almost started crying, but she got so angry. She started like literally coming at me, and yeah, there I also did some notes, but I started kind of like, okay, get in, get hit a couple times, then weave under, get on her, kind of keep the pace still in. When she was exhausted, I also was exhausted, but you know how it happens. You kind of take initiative, and those kind of sparrings, the tough ones, when someone wants to kill you, you gotta have them a little bit seldom. You don't want that to do often, and obviously even there, you gotta try to work. It's not about hurting the opponent. It's about learning how to hold the pressure, learning how to do an actual things that work, and it's a very interesting learning process. And good morning here. So here is the Stone Cold Steve Austin. Okay, keep scrolling up, guys. Okay, there are a little bit many questions, but there is this one. Um, Ma'am, how do you recommend a guy who just started college to start MMA? I find you're cool, but I don't know how much time I need. I feel like it's such a big commitment. Would love your input. Well, you know what? The guy who just fought on the card, Jiri Projaska, just had a little pause to get his master's degrees. Like, I mean, the guy finds the way how to do it. I think it's about the attitude and the perception and the way your attitude towards the life. We all have 24/7 time per day, like a day and night, and that's all we have. It's never different for anyone, and it's about, well, how you set your priorities, but also about your attitude. If you're excited about it, and if you don't set those hurdles on imaginary hurdles that, oh, I cannot do it, it's way too much, I cannot go out, I'm not going to be able to do this and that, then you're going to be fine. If you have an attitude when you are positive about it, and you're like, you know what, I'm going to get the education, I'm going to become a champion, I'm going to learn how to dance. There are many UFC fighters and boxers and athletes that actually pull it off somehow. So yeah, just
Yeah, Mighty Mouse, Marab, all those
Mighty Mouse,
guys.
Marab. There's so many
They
people.
were working full time construction
Yeah,
and education and
yeah,
relocating to the U.S.
yeah.
and all that.
That's Chris, my husband, talking, but I do agree. It's absolutely, and that's what makes the stories unique. I think it's like story the part, as I said, part of the a big part of the athlete's performance is not only what kind of fighter they are, it's about who they are behind that. And stories like, oh, that was a rich kid who had the opportunity to train full time, or they just do, that's the only thing they've done, that's not as exciting and as impressive as other fighters who did few things at the time, and some of the things were essential, like, working a side job to afford training. Some things are just hobbies that you just refuse to give up, and you just create the artwork. I know some. I know one guy who is, I mean, he's doing like a bare knuckle in Georgia, and he's like a tough guy, but he creates a beautiful art. He's actually an artist, and that is always impressive. You look like an actress in TV series Black Sails. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Do you make money from amateur fight, or you do any other job for money and do fights for fun? Like, I mean, my YouTube is monetizing, so that is part of the income. I do personal trainings and consultations when it comes to training, optimizing the lifestyle, sleep, dieting. So I've been working online as a self-employed for years now. My husband is also doing some crypto and has something set up, so it allows us to travel a lot, and we're traveling a lot, as as I said, trying to do other things too and set up other sources of income over time. Some things take longer time, but we're just happy to do that. So yeah, that's what. And fighting, I mean, I definitely don't make any money from fighting at this point. If that happens, why not? But it's more like as Jiri Projaska actually said, he looks at MMA as the art. To me, MMA obviously, but also boxing is an art, and I try to master it. Becky Lynch, of course. Sometimes you sound like a genius. I'm assuming you're curious about many things, and I guess it's because you're reading a lot of books. Overall, you sound really smart to me. Am I right or wrong? I mean, I appreciate your if you think that way. I'll be honest. I've been reading books more in the past, and especially actually before I learned English, I used to read Russian literature. So I have some books in my like collection, as to say. But I'll be honest, lately my ways of learning is a little bit, let's call it modernized. AI tools, uh, well, internet, YouTube, documentaries. Those are, how to say that? It's kind of a faster way, and it's more convenient for the very fast pace of life. Also, coming from the environment, then everyone tells you you gotta read books. Yes, you gotta read books, but you also can listen to the books while you're walking or doing something, and you can do two things at a time, and you know, kind of have everything in order. So once I let go of this thought that you only can learn from books, you it's not the one way. It's good to read. You gotta read for to train your eye. It's good for your vocabulary. Definitely, reading has its own benefits. It can be, well, books, novels, scientific literature, different stuff. But also, there are many other ways. You learn from people. You learn from just listening, whatever material you have. Um, you do the combination of those. This is how I learned English. This is how I'm learning about the world. AI tool, as I mentioned before, is you use few AIs to double and triple check information sometimes, and that is very helpful to have a kind of brief uh, insight on certain things. Obviously, you can go a deep dive as well, but yeah, I definitely use AI in the later period as well. So, and I'm not a genius. I'm just a Georgian girl. Hi from Armenia, fan of yours for like 4 or 5 months. Being 18, can I do big comeback to swimming? I've been swimming for 14 years, but have not for 1.5 with lots of workouts with no weights. I mean, it doesn't. You seem to be very young, and you already have a 14-year experience, and 1.5 year is a time. But if you don't have that many injuries, or if your life circumstances, special, can like let you do that, and most importantly, if you really want it, if you really are committed to it, just go for it. I believe in you. I think that makes sense. It's the great to see the joy of the face when you talk about the ring. Great job. Thanks. I appreciate it. Okay, guys, I'm actually scrolling up a little bit up there, so it's there. If there are some short comments, I appreciate for uh, all the positive words. Gun or Aspinall? Uh, can go either way, but maybe leaning towards Aspinall more. More. How? Knockout? Okay. If I want it bad enough, I'll figure out a way to do it. Basically, right. Yeah, that's a very good, Zach. That is a very good way to say it. Lucky husband, just to praise, I think will make you happy. You're a fire because you are often training like warrior, a fighter. Thank you very much. I mean, at this point, I'm training at the base level again. I'm gradually increasing it, and I like doing it. But there is quite a big way to go. Thoughts on the card? I think it was a great card. I had not seen first two fights, but the last three was solid. And I love the Pereira shock. As much as people wanted to see more of his fight, more of the fight, I think the cycle, the emotional effect was so powerful. He just went in, he just destroyed, and got his belt back, exactly the way he said. That was a very powerful comeback. Ank lost, feeling very down. Yeah, I'm sorry, and again, no disrespect for Ank. Losses like that happen, and sometimes it happened for to great. I mean, you remember Pereira was knocked out by Adesanya, like in the moment. It was in the second fight. It was like people were like, "What?" I mean, things like that happen. I don't know, like Masvidal versus Ben Askren, for example, that like high knee within the seconds. McGregor versus Jose Aldo, like if he was an easy legend, but that was one of the most like he looked like an amateur. And those kind of fights always have an effect of almost like the person who lost looks like an amateur, but it just happens sometimes. Okay, so well, I hope Magomed just um, you know digests it, and he makes the right conclusions about what happened. And like Pereira took his chance and proved that he is the king of the comebacks, he can do the same. Why not? So I wish him all the best. I hope he's gonna recover soon from it, and I hope that's not gonna stop him, because that's the only way how the sport thrives. You don't want, like, I never wish fighters to retire, fail, and with no comeback. I wish everyone getting stronger so they can help each other to get stronger as that sort of healthy competition. When did you start training? Like, many years ago. When I was 6, I started doing Georgian dancing, like national ballet, and it's quite tough one. And I've been doing that for 6 or 8 years. I don't remember exactly. I had a gap, and then I just started doing karate, and then I moved to boxing, and that was 10 years ago. So it's been quite a long journey. What percentage you think Poatan was on the juice and UFC didn't test him? LOL. Or am I reaching? He looked huge. Well, that's the thing. Pereira is the weight bully. So even if he didn't take anything, he's just big for that weight class. I mean, he was even bigger. I think he fought in the middleweight for a little bit, but even for the light heavyweight, he's massive. So I cannot tell you exactly. Could the UFC do that? Well, they how to say that? Well, it's a little bit odd because John Jones got caught, and those things went public, because whenever in the UFC history they tried to hide it, there were quite a few times, and those things, those results were leaking straight away anyways. And if he wouldn't get tested, I would say I think that's gonna leak too, and people's gonna start talking about it. Like, okay, he was on the juice. But if he got the test and he passed it, well, it's very hard to say whether he had a cycle or not, and he just like cleaned up successfully. It just, as I said, it's a gray area. But even without the juice, trust me, Pereira is the weight bull in the weight class. He's bigger for the weight class. AI is the goat. Well, it is. We gotta be friendly with it, aren't we? Okay, that's a good question. Oh, hey, ma'am, I had another question. Wanted to ask, what's the realistic risk of the brain injury in combat sports? My mom has mentioned it. I know there is a physical sacrifice you have to make it, but I don't know if I'm willing. It's a very good way. It's a very healthy way to think about it, because there is a risks. It's actually the brain injury risks are not only combat sports. A lot of like NFL, hockey, a lot of team football, contact sports have the quite a high quite a high amount of so-called CTE. So CTE is degenerative condition of the brain when it just progresses, and well, it's very it can get to very detrimental levels. This guy, the Chris, babe, what was the name of the wrestler? Chris with the CTE who?
Benoit.
Huh? Yeah, Chris Benoit. That was one of the, not the first, but I would say it's first diagnosed cases in wrestling. I think it was when he.
It wasn't the first case. It was the first one they knew about, and they looked at
No,
his
I think
brain after.
the first one was NFL someone, but I think in wrestling that was the first diagnosed case. That's what I mean.
Well, it wasn't diagnosed until after the.
Oh, yeah, post-mortem. Sure.
Post-mortem, yeah. So
Yeah.
like he.
You know, the guy who murdered his family and then killed himself, and people thought that he was a monster, but apparently he had one of the most progressed. After post-mortem, they diagnosed him CTE. So this is how bad it can get. But the factors is it's not only just getting hit in your head. The factors is how dehydration is a very big factor when the fighters.
This is a conversation we need to have more. It's like,
Yeah.
why is there no hydration?
Maybe come
test?
closer and just say it.
No, it's
Yeah.
just it's a bit stupid that we don't have hydration tests in the UFC. Like one championship does it, and like the one thing we know is when you're dehydrating heavily and you have sparse weight classes. So like there's not lots of weight classes, but you can go from the difference between the weight classes are too big.
Yes.
This compiles the compound of the weight bully status, but it also like the membrane in your brain that protects your brain is the last thing that gets rehydrated, and the chance
getting
of getting
thinner.
CTE is way bigger if you.
It's getting basically vulnerable, and when it gets exposed to the lot of repetitive punches and hits to the head over time, it just obviously there is genetic factor probably too. Some are more of a, but dehydration and the disparity in
We-
the weight classes is one of the bigger factors.
We know several professional MMA fighters, and almost all of them, they don't do sparrings anymore. They
Yeah.
do technical stuff, but
They do
n-
technical
but
sparrings. They
not
do.
heavy sparring. And I really don't think you can get used to getting punched, but you can't develop a chin.
Yeah, whoever says you gotta develop a chin, that not no such a thing. It doesn't exist. Obviously, getting that's why you have it in the rare, like more seldom occasions. You go for maybe a little bit heavier. Even there, you need to exercise your defense too. What I liked about Merab's fight in this fight is a lot of punches slipped in. He was using a good guard. He was shielding those punches and kicks quite successfully. And that is also a big thing. When you spar, that's why I don't like dropped arms type of styles when it comes to that. But anyways, back to CTE and the brain damage, like those two factors we mentioned. And the third factor is sparrings off the competition. So sparrings are essential part of preparation and training, but the attitude towards this is changing now. So you can see that heavier sparring cultures like the UK has that, some of the American schools has that, Asians, Chinese, Japanese have heavy style of sparring. And what happens is it's just you can be a great fighter, and there was this one fighter in UFC, I forgot his name. He's talking about that he has the signs of CTE. He cannot be clearly diagnosed at this point. He's alive, but he's suffering from certain issues like the memory issues and certain things. He never been knocked out in the UFC. Like he never been knocked out in his career, but in his case that could be the result of the repetitive, heavy, hard sessions of the sparrings on the training camp. And it is completely wrong. It's basically not preserving yourself to to compete the best way, and you waste all that resource, all your health to go heavy. Maybe it helps to train like a gladiator mentality, but the sport is evolving and that doesn't help anymore. So yeah, I mean basically spar lighter and seldom and do more like a technical sparrings and always try to learn. And when you have heavier sparrings, really develop a good defense. Like you have not seen it, you were sleeping, but Merab was doing great job. He actually outstroked the Corey.
Don't let me know who won because I was sleeping. So.
You know that Merab won.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for ruining that.
You know Merab won. Like there couldn't be anything else. Anyways, already saw
Was he
told.
dominating?
Huh?
Was he dominating in the fight?
Oh, he almost knocked him out, and there were moments it could be a guillotine.
Looked like he worked on his
His
stand-up
technique is
game.
getting it's very good. There was a moment that he could, as I said, it's like a lot of
I
punches.
think what the Poirier is doing is very smart. He trains the individual sports individually. So he trains boxing for boxing, wrestling for wrestling,
Yeah.
BJJ for BJJ. I think that's a smart way to do it.
Okay, someone asking, what kind of literature documentaries do you read or watch? I mean, in general, what topics or things are you generally curious about and passionate about. I mean, obviously, a lot of lately, especially boxing and MMA history. Not only like just later the current sport, but the how it evolved, the history of it, all the and related events. I like history, so historical events, basically just we a lot of YouTube videos, and often ask AI. Sometimes I'm like, oh, there's this like event, and I just ask about AI about it. Okay, can you tell me the dates and tell me a little bit more about it, or give me sources, and it just kind of guides me on the where I can see good sources. Like last thing I watched, which was completely like a general educational thing, it was about penicillin, like created by Alexander Fleming, and just watched the history of the penicillin and one of the things that how it changed the world. Very good YouTube channel. It's the people who changed the world, and it's basically how it's called. That was about the key figures and key events that uh, make those create those events. So yeah, basically that just be curious and use all the
Have you done
sources.
your homework?
Have you done your homework? I actually send you that location, one of the locations, because two of them were I don't know, I didn't find them on the thing, but one of the locations you can watch the YouTube video. We were doing a little bit of research of the some stuff we wanted to set up. So yeah.
Ask if you have any creations in the chat.
Oh guys, do we have any Croatians in the chat?
We've been looking at Rijeka, Split, the whole coast there. It looks like a stunning place. Maybe when we come back from Vietnam, this is somewhere we're gonna check out.
Yeah, we're looking more and more into Croatia. So if there is anyone in Croatia, like Rijeka, Split, and what was the Dubrovnik, those areas.
Dubrovnik, yeah. Well, most interested in the coast because it's near.
Yeah.
Rijeka seems like the best place. It's close to
Yeah,
the
like a biggest
international
port and stuff. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, just let us know if there is any Croatians, guys. Jerry was the best fight comeback was Majestic. Yeah, I mean, cannot disagree with that. There is another UFC training center up in the El Dorado Hills in Northern California. We have 4 near me. That's awesome. What is the? I mean, do you have membership there? What is the membership price? Just by any chance?
Membership price wherever.
Huh?
Membership price wherever.
Matt says there is another UFC training center up in El Dorado Hills in Northern California. We have 4 near me. It's a good location for him, and just it's training center. So if it's available for just the regular people. But your boy, I had Ankalaev winning by decision, huge flop. Again, it happens. That was very psychological. I think first fight was psychological on the Pereira side. I think he was underprepared. He was not like he almost looked like he didn't want to be there. But that comeback, man. Sorry, I'm spoiling you, but it was literally a few seconds. Okay, I gotta tell you, and you're gonna watch it. Like, are you watching it now?
No.
Okay. Yeah, like again, one more time, that because people asking about it. Pereira's look, like there was just a cut of his face, how he was looking at him, and I was like, okay, he's ready this time, and he just went straight away on him, straight. Then Ankalaev made the mistake. He went for a very bad takedown attempt. Pereira basically stood on him and elbowed him like before the stoppage. Like that was epic.
I'll watch the highlights now because someone can't shut up about the
Well, I mean that live stream is dedicated to people who are like you're gonna go and like be somewhere else then. What are the most important skills for an MMA fighter? Well, in the modern MMA, every aspect of the fight becomes cleaner and cleaner. You see, wrestling is more pronounced. It's not that messy anymore. Striking is more pronounced. Not, it's more calculated. So everything, I would say everything. But if you want to know the sequence, it's like a classic way. Let's say if you want to raise a kid who is an MMA fighter, if you want to make them into an MMA fighter, you put them in the gymnastics from the very little, just for them to develop plasticity and play and just, get used to moving. Then you put them into a wrestling, sambo, freestyle, judo, like, grappling, BJJ, whatever, combination of those, because, well, judo is apparently, it's more like a throws, right? So it's not that much of the groundwork. Whether the BJJ is purely based on the ground and pound and being on your back. And obviously, wrestling is a lot of wrestling elements is the takedowns, and the wrestling control is the thing in MMA. And then in a little bit later, maybe like early teenagehood, like 11, 10, 11, 12 years, you can introduce them to striking. In that thing, I think it can be anything. Boxing is the best. Like boxing, I do believe that even if you're learning striking, you gotta start from boxing. Then you introduce kicks and kind of move to kickboxing, and then you can do Muay Thai, add some elbows, high knees, all that kind of stuff. Definitely elbows and knees work in MMA. So Muay Thai on its own is a very good striking base. And basically it's just develop. If you're an adult or young adult, do the same. I would start in that sequence, but because you have a little bit more limited time, just go to a good MMA gym where they have separate classes actually. If you want to go more exclusive, if you actually want to go like a, I don't know, like a pure wrestling and pure BJJ, then you gotta go to BJJ gym separately, let's say twice a week. Then you go wrestling once or twice a week. Then you go striking specifically for. It's a little bit, can be not location wise not very convenient. But if you have one good gym, that they usually have splitted classes, and then they have unified MMA classes too. You have a Slavic appearance. Do you have Russian roots? I do have Russian and Ukrainian roots from my mother's side. Okay, keep scrolling up, guys. Good, good. Almighty short is thicker than baked. Okay, I didn't get that one. Just practice judo, Apache knife, fighting, sparring. Oh, that's a good advice too. I hear boxing is better to start with because of conditioning. Trust me, wrestling conditioning is something else too. It's very interesting. If you put wrestler and boxer, just pure boxer and wrestler, if you put a wrestler in the boxing thing, boxing conditioning gonna be definitely a boxer's gonna win on the conditioning, because it's just a different pattern. It's conditioning, but it's a different pattern. If you put a boxer on in the with the wrestler, and there is a wrestling conditioning, a wrestler's gonna win. So you might have a general good conditioning, but you still gotta train both to adapt to both patterns. So yeah, that's how I would say. Wrestling has a great, crazy, like rolling, throwing, going on a takedown, all the kind of stuff that takes so much energy. I'm Georgian, but I have some Russian and Ukrainian roots, as I said. What do you think? Which is UFC fighter is number one pound for pound? Isn't Ilya Taporia right now number one pound for pound? Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, however it is, it is. I definitely think that Ilya is great, but he still has things to prove. He needs to fight in a lightweight, and he needs to defend his titles. That's the thing. But now it's the his fight versus Gagey. I think there is no date yet, but I think that's gonna be interesting fight, because Gagey is tough as nails, and I think they're preparing the White House card. I mean, it's a little bit mystery now, but that's the thing. There's a chance that Makhachev, despite them not having a direct relation to U.S. and White House at all, it might be one of the fights there. Makhachev versus Ilya. So we don't know. I still think possibly Jones Aspinall, because that would make the most sense as the main event. I don't know. So we'll see. But Ilya was, at least up until recently, he was the number one pound for pound. And well, looking at his resume and the way how he finishes the fights, I cannot disagree with that necessarily. I think judo to start judo is the best because you can start as small kid and you learn techniques that can help you BJJ in wrestling. Yeah, sure. Even in the groundwork, you have a sequence, right? So you kind of ask the question, which is better to start from? Judo is great. Wrestling is great. Rather wrestling or judo, and BJJ is a little bit later because BJJ is it's more nuanced, it's more technical, and it's good as the well. It's basically gives you security on the in the ground and pound, like in the position where you're the most vulnerable, ideally. But if you're a great BJJ artist, you can actually use it as to your advantage. So that sequence sounds good. Salute, you speak French? Unfortunately, no. Did you watch Mirab fight? Yes. Let me show you the mountains again. So, I'm Georgian, same as Mirab, and this is Kartulim Tebi. It's a Georgian mountains. That's how we call it, Kartulim Tebi. It was one of the best mornings, guys, I can tell you. Like my coffee, which is already cold, but doesn't matter. Waking up at 6 a.m., watching those three fights, the last three fights on the main card. I like Jiri Projaska, so I was very happy of his win. Then Mirab's win was impressive. Obviously, I was hoping when he went for Corey for like a knockout, I was like, is he going knockout him? And it's like, I'm a little bit sad that he didn't try it one more time. And I understand because you don't underestimate Corey Sandhagen. There, like in the later rounds, he had a couple of moments that even despite being tired, he could still, do the kicks. And at some point, he did this high knee. So I understand, but again, it's I think Mirab is evolving, and that's what I like about him. So I was very happy. But then Alex Pereira's boom, like a knockout, just getting in, owning the ring, owning the octagon, getting the belt back. Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, grappling was so good. And well, that's the thing. A lot of people, they were starting booing at some point when it was closer to the cage wall. Well, I understand that happens, but it wasn't that much. Like you saw a lot of sleek moments. That first time when he just slid down and just threw Corey over his shoulder, that was beautiful, and there were some beautiful highlights of how he was doing those throws. And guys, if you don't like watching grappling and takedown controls and cage controls, well, maybe that's not your sport, because you gotta watch the whole process and be able to enjoy it. Sometimes it's gonna be a wrestling grappling dominated, sometimes it's gonna be striking dominated. It really depends on the fighters, and that's how it is in the UFC. Hello, miss. Please tell me how I can increase the punching power at home. Well, you gotta get the boxing back because you need to learn how to throw. But as you see, you're not just throwing like this. Even when you do shadow boxing, you can do like a light shadow boxing. Then you can do kind of like you see in my movement, I kind of like throwing it and I grinding it, right? So that's one of the ways. And obviously you need to use the proper technique. You use the foot positioning, hip rotation, like a shoulder, like a core rotation, bum, and kind of grinding it in. But it also has to be fast. It's like boom, because a lot of power, punching power, it doesn't come only from the weight. It comes from the created momentum, velocity, and then impact. That is the most effective punches. Do you train MMA? I train boxing. Me and my brother are watching the fight now. Yes. Are you orthodox? I would say I have my personal belief system. Orthodox. Sorry, Orthodox. For some reason, I went for Christianity. The original and Orthodox stance, and but I trade some Southpaw elements to on certain things. But okay, guys, my phone's dying now. Okay, so I gotta wrap it up so it saves. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate you. It was great card, and I see you soon. Okay, bye bye.